So hello friends and welcome to episode number 1 of my Tattered Wings podcast. This is the very first episode and I appreciate you watching me live or on replay, no matter which platform you are on. I encourage you to comment because I will go back and read the comments and engage with you, because if I'm not talking to you, I'm just sitting here talking to myself, and that kind of stinks, right? So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please be sure to like and follow my page so that you are notified of any time I go live. I do readings, I do all kinds of cool stuff, but I appreciate you sharing my page, sharing the podcast with like-minded individuals, other people who will enjoy it. However, please don't share any of my stuff into groups where it's not allowed, because that's just bad juju. And do not share my things with anyone who is under 18 years of age, because I cannot guarantee that I will remain age appropriate at all times, because I cuss, I vape. This is a nicotine vape. I apologize if it offends anybody, but I'm a real human person, man, just like everyone else. Sometimes we talk about sensitive things that children do not need to be present for. So if you are under 18, please excuse yourself from this broadcast. Invite your mama or your grandma. Send them this way. Tell them there's a really cool psychic on the internet who you'd love to listen to, and send them this way. I appreciate you guys. If you're new to me, my name is Heidi Corona. I'm a real life psychic medium, friend. Spirit speaks, psychic medium Heidi. That is me, the one and only. But I wasn't always a psychic medium. I was not always a psychic medium. And you wonder, why should I even listen to you, girl? You don't have to. You don't have to, but I appreciate you if you are. I really do, and I hope that you hear what you need to hear with me today. I hope that Spirit reaches you in whatever way that you need, man, because we're all human beings. We're all living on this journey, right? And I want to talk to you guys about my psychic development journey. Now, I wasn't always a psychic person. I wasn't always a medium. My beliefs were shattered in an instant. In an instant, I became a psychic medium, and I didn't even know what was happening, you guys, and this could happen to any one of you at any time. There were many signs over the years that I didn't see, that I missed, that I explained away, because I was a regular old 3D person, and I believed in heaven, and I believed in hell, and I believed in that big bearded God in the sky who was going to smite me down for being a sinner. I believed these things, and I became a medium in an instant in church one day. In an instant. And it was undeniable. It changed my life. And this could happen to you simply by watching podcasts and things like this. When you're leaning into this direction, you're trying to find out things, you're hearing these words, Spirit is priming you for something. Keep paying attention, keep listening, and keep connecting the dots between what you're learning or hearing and your own life. Let it land where it resonates with you. And I must say that I've found some amazingly great teachers who are phenomenal in a lot of areas. And maybe I didn't see eye to eye with them on 1 or 2 different subjects. That's okay. It doesn't mean they're not good teachers. It just means they don't have the exact experience that I have with that thing to give me the perspective that I have, and them theirs. Take it as it resonates. What I say may not resonate with you. You might think I'm full of crap. That's okay. That is okay. I am okay with you having your own beliefs, but I appreciate you tuning in with me. So like I said, I miss signs. In retrospect, being on a spiritual awakening path now, I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss that? Because I had no spiritual awareness. I had a very 3D job. I told you I had those loose, basic Christianity beliefs. You know what I mean? I wasn't a Bible thumper. I didn't go to church all the time, but I knew about Jesus, went to Bible school on Sundays when I was a kid and those kinds of things. But I really, truly believed in heaven and hell, showing up at those gates, getting judged and determined. And then our past loved ones, man, they either go one way or they go the other way. And who even knows? Who even knows if we'll see them again? What if I don't go to the same place? What if they're just lost and gone forever? Who knows? Many people believe like this. And it's not wrong. I mean, it was right for me then, and it's what I believed to be true at that time. It was my own personal experience that changed things for me. I did not know at that time that we live in an energetic dimension. I did not know that our souls live on even after our physical body dies. I wasn't sure. I didn't know. This is a very common belief system. So you can imagine, just like anyone else, when our past loved ones were ripped viciously out of our lives, we grieved, and it was devastating, man. I'm not saying I don't still grieve, but it's a whole different grief when you just don't even know. When you just don't even know where they go. You don't know what happens. They're just gone. They're just gone and out of reach forever. So I need to share with you something very huge that happened to my family. Within 6 weeks, we lost my aunt and my grandma, both maternal aunt, maternal grandma. And you can imagine how devastating that was on my family. You can imagine how devastating that was on my mother. That was her mom and her sister. I got chills right now. My mom is on the broadcast. She's probably crying her eyes out. Mom, I love you. And I'm sorry to have to bring this up. But people need to know. So you can imagine how broken a person could be after losing their loved ones, right? Quick, boom, boom, like that. Didn't even know one and then another. And then you can't even cope. You can't even recuperate. You can't even make it through what happens. My mom was so broken. I mean, we were all upset, but my mom. And my mom was invited into a spiritual community online by her cousin, who was also grieving the passing, you know? And so my mom's cousin Denise invited my mom into the Light Shine Lab. And it used to be Lightworkers Lab, okay? But now it's Light Shine Lab. So my mom was invited into the Light Shine Lab before I was ever a psychic, before I was ever a medium. My mom was in the Light Shine Lab, and I dropped that link in the description box because this group is phenomenal. I just have to say that. I've learned so much and grown so much by everything that I found in this group. And not only that, but they do readings there like every day of the week. There's a credible, vested, heart-centered practitioner that is there for readings every single day. Check out the Light Shine Lab. I got to give credit where credit's due, man. And I've learned so much. I'm so glad that I landed there when my spiritual awakening journey just opened up out of nowhere. So I'll tell you this. My mom was in the Light Shine Lab. My mom was receiving evidential readings, online broadcasts in the Light Shine Lab at that time. She was grieving the loss of her sister. She was grieving the loss of her mother. She was still trying to deal with life. And she would let me know, hey, Heidi, look, I got this reading from this amazing medium. Or she was throwing out all these big names, Lauren Antifermo, Lisa Robinette, you know, all these great names. And my mom was moved, man, because these different mediums and practitioners were able to tap in and give her evidential messages that we do live on. Now, I must say that I was like, good for you, Mom. Is that terrible? It wasn't in my realm, guys. It wasn't in my realm. I was like, that's wonderful, Mom. I'm really glad they're helping you. Wow, those ladies must be really special. They're really psychic or smart or whatever they are, right? Woo, I didn't know how it worked. I did not know that Spirit was priming my life to throw me into the Light Shine Lab. I didn't know, man. But who knows what's happening when it's happening, right? So my mom was getting these evidential readings. And it was really helping her to cope, you know? It was helping her to heal a little bit. And it was really what she needed at that time. Now, during that same time period, I told you guys, I'm a real human person, man, right? During that time period, I was feeling a very strong urge within myself to kind of clean up my life a little bit, to kind of clean up my act a little bit, you know what I mean? Keep my nose clean and everything else. Not that I'm a bad person, but hey, good people get caught up in stuff or make bad choices. And I decided I don't want that anymore, man. I don't want drama anymore. I don't want nonsense anymore. I want to live a good life. I want to live a happy life. And I want to do the right thing, even if I don't know what that is, right? So I had decided, and I asked you this, as my mom's receiving these beautiful evidential healing readings in the Light Shine Lab, and I'm deciding maybe I should, like, I don't know, clean up my act. I know that these are our past loved ones in spirit that was drawing her and drawing me, guys, drawing us in that direction. So as I said, I felt compelled to go to church. That I really felt like I needed to get plugged into a church, right? But I don't really have a whole lot of church history, so I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I live in a little teeny town that has like 20 different churches, and I don't want to go to any one of them, to be completely honest. God forgive me. But my spirit team knows me, man. My spirit team knows me. And when I had made the decision that I wanted to clean up my act and live a good life and go to church and all these things, I'm telling you what, one day I'm in my head about this. I keep feeling drawn. Go to church. Go to church. I couldn't think, what church? What church am I even going to go to? My phone fell on the ground and popped open to some Google something. I'm telling you, this is how spirit can work in your life. My phone fell on the ground. Google popped open something. I took a look at it, and it was a freaking church in the town next over from mine. And I said, oh my God, am I supposed to go to this church? Maybe I am. So I took a look and I said, how far away is this church from my house? 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute drive from my house. So I call the church and I say, hello there. When's your next service? And the church says, in 30 minutes. Thump me on the head, right? I said, okay, God, I will go to this church. Never been to this church in my life. Don't know a darn thing about it, but I will go. I will go because this is just too weird not to follow. Obviously, Spirit is lining something up for me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I'll go. And I went. It was a Pentecostal church, y'all. So I went to the Pentecostal church. And boy, I felt it, man. I loved that vibe. Let me tell you. Now, I told you I went to Sunday school and whatnot when I was a youngster growing up. Now, I told you I live in a tiny town. And I'm not talking smack or anything, but I remember my church in my younger days as a child. It was all old people, like really old people. And it was really toned down, very monotone. Like, that's kind of what I was expecting. You know what I mean? Like some really boring ho-hum, this or that. Well, me, you see me, y'all. Can you read my energy just a little bit? I'm a little hype. So I am expecting to walk into a very conformist type of church or whatever this is, very toned down. I walk in and the music is just fabulous, man. I love church music. I love worship music of any kind, because that connects you to the energy of God, the energy of source, the energy of spirit, which is so much greater and feels way better than any energy than people put off. I'll tell you what. So I love worship music. I love that. And I walked in right when they were just starting. I might have been a minute or two late, but the music was going off and I was feeling it. So I get there and it's kind of like pump music. It's a Pentecostal church. So they're kind of like moving around, this and that. People are raising their hands. People are jumping up and running around. And I'm like, oh my God, right? I'm freaking out. Like, this is crazy. But I got chills everywhere. And I feel super comfortable because if they're that wild, I'm not so bad standing in my chair enjoying the music, right? I don't even know you. I've never been here before, but I feel good about being here. So I showed up at the church, just drawn like that. I fell in love with the music. I sat down and I listened to the sermon and I enjoyed every minute of it. Now I'll tell you guys, I got baptized. I got baptized that night in that same experience. And I'll tell you what, I've been baptized before. Don't be like, hey, Heidi, you're double dipping. Let me explain. Remember I told you about the church that I used to go to that was really like a lot of old people? Well, when I was 10 years old, I asked to be baptized. And they baptized me, right? Well, newly entering this Pentecostal church, I was approached towards the end of the service by some very nice people who attend there regularly. And they came to me and they said, hey girl, how you doing? I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing in my Heidi speech. So they came and approached me and said, have you been baptized before? I said, to be honest, yes, I believe I was baptized when I was 10 years old. And they said, and this stuck with me, this resonated with my heart. They said, does a 10-year-old child know true sin? And I said, well, probably not. And they said, do you stand in front of me right here and now and know true sin in your heart and you want to release it and let it go? And I said, well, hell yeah. And they said, well, come on, girl, we'll baptize you right here and now. So I said, oh my gosh. So I followed them, right? Like just like that, on the spot. Like somebody canceled. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, do you guys do this every time? They're like, no, actually somebody else is supposed to get baptized. They canceled. So we're going to baptize you. And I'm like, wow, it was freaking incredible the way that things lined up, right? So I'm thinking, what's going to happen? I'm about to get baptized. And they're telling me like, it's okay, girl. If you come up and you feel like you want to scream, shout, speak in tongues, whatever happens, happens, right? And I'm thinking like, wow, that's a lot of pressure to put on a new person. I don't know what I'm supposed to do when I come up out that water. What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? And so anyway, they said, just be free, man. Just go under the water, come back up, and whatever happens, happens. And I'll tell you guys, I didn't even intend on going this deeply into this story, but obviously it's important. So when I was baptized, they dumped me under the water, right? And when I came up, like, I don't know, I felt like just my energy was bizarre. Again, I did not have a spiritual awakening journey At that time, I still believed in all the heaven and the hell. I didn't know about energy, and I didn't know about speaking in tongues and light language and how that is such the same thing, right? I didn't know these things, but I came up out of that water and I felt so freaking amazing. I opened my mouth and began to shout in tongues. I threw my arms wide open because I just felt this love in my chest that would not, I couldn't contain it. I had to throw my arms open. And when I did that, the bystanders who were watching me be baptized said that my hands threw joy at them. It hit them into their chests, and they doubled over and started laughing. They said my whole face was lit up from the inside out, my nose, my mouth, light just coming out of me. I threw my joy at them. I was so ecstatic in the house of the Lord when I was baptized there in that Pentecostal church among people that I had never met before. Thank you, Spirit. So that is the church that I got baptized in, man, and I loved it. I loved that church. I loved the energy. And this is really funny because I'll tell you what, I love the energy of the Pentecostal church, but as you can see, I'm a little different. I'm a little different, right? Things don't put me off. I'm into it. Yeah, all right, let's worship. Okay. I invited my brother to go to church with me. Now, you would never know it looking at me, but my brother and I do not look like siblings. I'm short, he's tall, I'm light-skinned, he's very dark, I'm small, he's big, right? And my brother, I ask him, come to church, come to church. He comes to church with me, and he is freaked out. Let me just tell you this. He's like, whoa, sis, I ain't never gonna go back to that place again because them guys are all too hype up in there. You know what I mean? Running around and stuff. I don't even know what to expect. So, I know it's not a cup of tea for anybody, but I love that Pentecostal church. I love that church. I love the vibe, the energy. Now, I must tell you, I have been back. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, my mediumship opened up in that church. The vibe, the energy, it was resonating with me. I'll tell you this, I attended that church for a few months. And on Mother's Day, we go to the Sunday service. It's me, my mom, my children. Now, by that time, my mom's sister, my Aunt Kelly, had been passed for 7 months. So we went to the church, and synchronistic, you guys, synchronistic, the church that I randomly got called to, that I began taking all my folks to, was the same church that the other branch of my Aunt Kelly's family had already been attending, y'all. Tell me that is not our past loved ones in spirit pushing us together. Pushing us together. Is that crazy? Totally crazy. So I'm at church on Mother's Day with my mom, with my children. Our family's happy. We're all involved. Also, my Aunt Kelly in spirit, her grandchildren are there. She loved her grandchildren so much. She loved her children. I'm not discounting anyone, but her grandchildren were there in the service. Her favorite one, I'm telling you what. And I was very hyped from the service. As we talk about raising our vibration, that had a lot to do with this breaking through with me, okay? Because my vibe was so high, you guys. I was so stoked to be in the house of God. I was singing, I was raising my hands, my family was all with me. I was really happy. I was truly, really happy and in the moment with the Lord, with the church, with my family. It was a beautiful day, and I felt beautiful. And I wasn't even thinking about my past loved one. That's why this broke through so clearly. I'm telling you, I was not thinking about my past loved one. In fact, I went to go hug my cousin, who's my Aunt Kelly's granddaughter. I went to go hug her. And we were just leaving. I'd hugged everyone else. Bye, everyone. See you later. I'll see you next time. Da, 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 da. I went to hug her. I said, I love you, girl. And I pulled her in close and I hugged her. I said, I love you. And in my ear, I heard my Aunt Kelly in spirit, her voice. She shouted in my ear, tell her grandma loves her. I got chills right now, y'all. Number one, I knew it was not my own thought, because why would I think to tell somebody something? That was a third party coming through. Tell her grandma loves her. Tell her for me. And when she screamed that, it was like she was screaming the whole time, guys. And I barely caught it. Tell her grandma loves her. And when that came through, I felt like she shook my shoulders. I thought for certain that other people saw me shaking in the church while she was shaking my shoulders. Tell her grandma loves her. I had no idea what was happening, but I recognized my aunt's voice. I recognized the message. I knew who was talking and who she was talking to. I took my cousin, put her at arm's length, scared to death. I said, your grandma loves you. And she said, I know. And she hugged me again, and then I began to cry. I let her go, and I started sobbing, because I recognized the voice of my Aunt Kelly in spirit. She wasn't dead and gone and lost forever. Oh my God, she was speaking in my ear. She shook my shoulders. She wanted Marissa to know she loved her. It could happen to anyone at any time. And I'll tell you what, guys, sometimes I do live events locally. The very first live event that I did locally, somebody came to my booth with a book about demon worshiping or something and was like, you're possessed by the devil. That's the voices you hear. And when did you first hear it? And I'm like, well, first of all, this was my aunt's voice. And I was in church. And I'm positive that I'm not possessed by the devil. In fact, just that knowledge and awareness unlocks so much more in me, and it's helped people all over the world that I've never met. Spirit speaks, man. Spirit comes through. Some people just have a hard time believing that it's possible. So what I want to give to you guys about this. Now, when this happened to me in church, tell her grandma loves her. I said, your grandma loves you. She said, I know my grandma loves me. She did not know she was receiving a message from beyond. I didn't even realize I was giving it. But I did, and I became a medium in an instant. But I didn't know how to make it work. I didn't know how to turn it on. I didn't know how to bring her back. Where are you? Where are you? What else do you have to say to everybody? Come back. I didn't know, man. So guess what? My mom was already in the Light Shine Lab, guys. My mom was already in the Light Shine Lab, and I said, Mom, Aunt Kelly spoke to me in the church. What's going on? She said, get in the Light Shine Lab. They'll give you a reading. They can tell you what's going on. So I jumped into Light Shine Lab, and that's why that link is in the description box, you guys. I jumped into Light Shine Lab and learned a lot of stuff, a little at a time. It's been a huge part of my journey, because just because you become a medium, just because it opens up, doesn't mean you know how to use it. Doesn't mean you know how to turn it on, turn it off. Structure it to give you useful information, right? It doesn't mean you have any of that. So if you don't, you can learn, man. And if you don't feel like you're open or connected at all, you are. You cannot disconnect your soul from source. You are tethered together, and you can connect on your own. That's why I share this with you. Yes, this happened to me, okay? But I want to tell you something else. My granny in spirit, who is a lovely, lovely person, man. Kind, calm, caring. Oh man, my granny, you may have heard me speak about my granny on my live broadcast last week. She attempted to come to me in spirit, okay? But I never saw it, guys. I missed the signs. I shrugged it away. I explained it all away. I ignored. I didn't believe. I just let it go, right? My granny's energy is very subtle. She's not a pushy person. She's not the kind of person who's gonna be in your face. She's just not. So I need to tell you this. My Aunt Kelly was a very strong person. My Aunt Kelly had a very strong and fiercely protective energy. She was a very independent woman, and she loved so incredibly hard. She wasn't afraid to stand up for what was right. She spoke her mind, that woman did. That woman's willpower and the love in her heart was so strong that she broke through my belief systems and turned me into a medium with her strong energy and her strong love. So what I encourage you guys to do is to think about the past loved ones that you have in spirit. I want you to think about the past loved ones that you have in spirit. Now, if you're thinking about them, they want to connect with you. But it's about, how can I understand the interaction? Now, I want to say that many of us want to hear from our parents. When we decide to connect with someone who may be an easier match to connect and understand, okay? For instance, my granny, in the beginning, it was hard for me to connect to her immediately. That's the one I wanted to talk to because my heart still hurt, man. But my heart still hurt. So it took time before I could connect, before I was at a healing place with my grief to connect with the subtle, beautiful energy of my loving granny. But my Aunt Kelly, of course, I'm wounded. But it touched a little bit of a less vulnerable chord in my heart. And I'm just being human about this. We have wounds, and then we have other wounds that we can't possibly heal from. Okay, it takes more time. It takes more time. My Aunt Kelly had the strongest will, the strongest love, the strongest heart, and the strongest personality, y'all. That's different from mine. And that's why she came crashing through like a wave. So if you can think to yourself, is there a past loved one who I would like to connect with? Now, it doesn't have to be boyfriend, romantic, family. It could be a friend. Maybe you remember a really eclectic friend of yours who you could recognize, who had a strong personality, and your heart is not grieving that wound, right? So it's a lighthearted and easy way to connect with that and recognize the different energy patterns within your field. And it might be words, man. You might close your eyes and clairvoyantly see that person. Just know that it's true, man. Just allow it to be true within your life. And when you say, what if this is true? It encourages more to develop and open up for you. But I'm telling you what, skeptics, I feel really bad for skeptics. I really, really do. If you can't consider the what if, and you're always chasing that proof, those facts. Spirit is a very subtle energy, and you have to take what you get and think, maybe what if this is a spirit sign? And they'll say, she's paying attention. She noticed. Let's give her another one and see if she gets that one too. I need to tell you this. Like I said, my mediumship opened up, and wow, how amazing is that? You can learn to unlock these things within yourself. There's a whole process. It can be done. It's like going to school to learn welding, but instead you're going to go to school to learn to become a psychic reader, a psychic medium, whatever this is. I learned a lot of what I know from the Light Shine Lab. I'm telling you guys, I've taken 5 different programs, and it wasn't even necessarily the program I needed at that time, but it was what they had. So I dove in and I took whatever they gave me, and it all helped. It all enhanced, unlocked, up-leveled. And now I'm telling you what, guys, I went from a point where I was spiritually unaware. I stepped in. I'm getting readings from the broadcasters. I'm getting readings. Mind is blown. I'm like, wow, these people are amazing. This is crazy, right? And somehow, with just putting one foot in front of the other and taking another program and getting a little bit more involved and showing up with love in my heart, guys, somehow, some way, I've went from being a viewer to now being the broadcaster. And I'm able to give these services away in the same manner. I'm able to offer people healing. That changed my world to know that our past loved ones live on. They still retain their personality. We live on. We don't have to worry about when we die, because when we die, we're just going to go to the other side with everyone else and regroup again. It's really not that big of a deal. It's not life or death anymore, is it, friends? Isn't that crazy? It's life or the other side. Changed my life. So I want to share that with you guys. And if you don't have personal experience, keep watching, man. Keep absorbing. I'm telling you, I have so many books. I have books from John Holland. I have books from many different people. Whatever it is for you, dive in. If Spirit is drawing you in a direction where you're watching these kinds of things, like I said, Spirit's grooming you. Spirit is priming you. Spirit is priming you for more. And when you take this, it'll unlock just a little bit more for you in your life. It really, really will. Because we're all just regular human people, guys, living the best lives that we can. And I appreciate you guys joining me, and I look forward to catching you on the next Tattered Wings. Many blessings, friends.